Well, hello all you fine people out there in YouTube land. This here's the NRA Man Forever. Coming to you live, kinda, from South Texas. I am alive. But this ain't a live feed, unfortunately. Or fortunately, however you want to look at it. I can edit out my mistakes. So yeah, fortunately, this ain't a live feed. This week on Lame Ass Excuses for Gun Control, we are going to talk about the fact that the Second Amendment is outdated. Really? Fucking really? Okay, let's entertain this one. This quote comes to us from Mayor Michael Bloomberg. Now, it's a little off topic, but it was the best one I could find. I don't think the Founding Fathers had the idea that every man, woman, and child could carry an assault rifle. Now, first of all, I fucking hate that term because it is vague, it is misleading, and there's no defined definition of an assault rifle. There's a defined definition for a pickup truck, for a train, for a hammer, but not for an assault rifle. That argument was debunked by the Supreme Court. Or maybe it was the Kangaroo Court. Oh no, it was the one in D.C. That was the one with the 9 just... Yeah, that was the Supreme Court. Yeah, they debunked that shit. So that argument really is pretty much over to begin with. But, delving further, in D.C. versus Heller, the court observed that the argument is... That specific argument, that the Second Amendment is outdated because it was written in a time period when all they had was muzzle-loading weapons and swords, is as frivolous as you can get. And if it could be interpreted that way, and if it should be interpreted that way, then the First Amendment would only protect paper and quill. This is the court. This is not me. This is the court. This is what they said. This is what Justice Scalia said. And it gets even better, people, because even the dissenting justices still acknowledged that it was an individual right, not a collective right, meant to protect militias, namely state police agencies. That even the dissenting judges, like I said, they still interpreted the Second Amendment to protect an individual right. Now, the judges that were on the winning side, the right side, thankfully, they acknowledge that it is a personal right that can be restricted within reason. Now, unfortunately, the within reason part was left kind of vague. The most specific they got was no infringements could be made upon classes of weaponry that are not unusual or uncommon within the general population. So that throws out RPGs, grenades, mortars, fucking tanks. But your AR-15 with a standard capacity 30 round magazine, that's definitely pretty fucking common. They made the point that the advances in technology, while unforeseeable to the Founding Fathers, in the wake of guns, that we would be as far as we are today with, fucking fully automatic weapons in the hands of our soldiers. To use the outdated argument is just as crazy as saying that the internet, 24-hour news channels, those are not protected forms of freedom of speech. Yeah, let that argument go in Congress. Oh my goodness gracious, they will flip a lid in the news. Funny when it's their rights. When it's our rights, they feel they should be taken away. When it's their rights, oh hell no. Fucking hypocrites. Gotta love them. And where we are today with firearms really isn't all that unforeseeable. Even from the viewpoint of the Founding Fathers. It is a given that technology is going to improve the longer you tinker with something. Multi-shot firearms that didn't need to be reloaded between shots were already in existence in the 1600s. They were becoming more and more commonplace by the early 19th century. Within the lifetime of the oldest surviving founding fathers, repeating firearms were becoming more and more commonplace. So to say that the advances were unforeseeable, I'm sure they couldn't imagine where we are today, but they knew it would get better. Add to that, just a few years after, within 7 years of the Constitution being ratified, the first the first facility to mass produce firearms in the world, y'all, in the United States, Remington manufactured 10,000 rifles for our military. 100% interchangeable parts. No more one at a time in it. The argument the Second Amendment is outdated is horse shit. It always has been. It always will be. It is a bunch of desperate, bitter, gun-hating people who bear hatred for something they don't understand, don't want to understand, and have no interest in educating themselves about, clinging to at a last-ditch attempt to find something they can use to rouse up enough people who are just as ignorant as them to write their congressmen and bitch at their elected representatives to get enough votes in Congress to ban something. Plain and simple. This is the NRA Man Forever, reminding you, yet again, united we stand, and divided we surely will fall. Join the NRA.